Hey everyone, Prince B here. Today we're talking Xbox Microsoft's presentation for E3. Uh, Pretty much they just finished up like an hour ago. Uh, so yeah, let's get started. Uh, and again, I'm mainly Nintendo. I've got very basic knowledge of a lot of these series and titles, uh, but just kind of like my general thoughts and reactions. Anyways, they started off with Halo 5 Guardians, uh, and I only played a little bit of Halo 2 way back when that came out. Uh, I like the story concept actually. I'm a fan of taking your protagonist and making him, is he the bad guy? Is he not? I don't, uh, so, like the story concept, that's cool. Uh, But I'm curious, at what point do you decide to just drop the number out of your game title? I mean, that's not really relevant, but I mean, Zelda stopped after like Zelda 2, Mario stopped after Mario 3. Uh, at what point do you drop the number? Like, are we gonna go to like Halo 20 or something? I don't know. I mean, if there's 20 games in the franchise, that's cool, but are they all gonna have the number, or are you just gonna start just giving them different names? Anyways, overall, I thought it looked good. Nothing stood out as bad. I really liked the sparkly fire effect. I don't know if that's in the other Halo games, but it looked good. Overall, not bad. Uh, then they announced a new IP, uh, going to be exclusive to Xbox, and it has Inafune, who did work on Mega Man. I can't remember if he's the creator or not, but Inafune uh, is on this project, and it's called Recore. And I actually thought that one looked really interesting. It has a really cool concept from what they showed us. They didn't show us a lot. In fact, they didn't show us a lot on of in-depth stuff on anything. I'll talk about that later, but they didn't really show us a lot. But basically, from what we did see, there was like a desert and this girl, and she had like a little robot dog, uh, and she was collecting something, and the dog, they got ambushed by other robots, and the dog got blown up or something, and left this little sphere, which I'm guessing the core or something, and she picked it up and she put it into another robot, and it came back to life, and uh, it looks like the core is like their soul or their consciousness or whatever robots have. Uh, so yeah, that looks like a really interesting concept. I'd be interested to learn more about that. But the big question is that there is where's the gameplay on that? That they just had like a cinematic on that. There was no gameplay. They didn't show us how anything would work, and basically it was just here's the general premise, and that's all you're gonna get. And that's a shame because, like I said, I thought that one was interesting. I'd be interested to learn more about that. I know some people are fine with just getting cinematics, but I'd really rather have gameplay. Otherwise, it's just the same as a movie to me. Uh, I'm gonna give it a miss because of that. Just because they didn't show us even the slightest bit of gameplay, there was nothing there for me to get to really know that it was a game and not a movie. Honestly. Uh, They then announced backwards compatibility, which is good. I mean, you buy a game, you should be able to play it, right? Uh, Regardless, I wish Nintendo has backwards compatibility for like the Wii U back to the Wii, but why doesn't it support GameCube games too? That's my big question. I don't want to switch my cords every time I want to play a GameCube game. That's obnoxious. Uh, So yeah, Xbox One is getting backwards compatibility for 360, I think they said, uh, which props that, but really that should have been in there to begin with. I think the only system who doesn't have backwards compatibility now is PS4. After that, they had a new controller, the Xbox Elite. and had this weird little panel thing. I don't know what that was for, but it did have it's customizable, and that is something that's really cool. It's got the you can like take off and change the joysticks around, and the buttons you can remap them for games and everything. And that's really cool. More games should have button mapping, but the fact that you can customize your controller, I like that a lot. I'm just curious how it's going to work, if you're going to need like tools to customize it or not, because the way it looked, it just popped off. And I'd imagine it'd be really bad if during gameplay your control pad just like popped off. That wouldn't be good. But I think that if they were unveiling it, they've got it figured out. Anyways, after that, Fallout 4, they came out, which is funny because the whole point of according to them, the whole point of them doing the Fallout panel, the big one for Bethesda, was they wouldn't have to do other panels, but here they are. Anyways, basically they just confirmed it's going to be on Xbox. I already gave my basic thoughts on it in the Bethesda video, so I'll put a link over here. You can click that and watch it after you finish this one. As far as new things, they said you can transfer PC mods from the PC to the Xbox, which is cool. Basically just confirming that Fallout will be on Xbox One, which I kind of already guessed. Anyways, next they had EA come out and they announced EA Access, or they were talking about EA Access. I don't really know what it is. Apparently you can play EA games for like a monthly fee or something, so it's kind of like a digital Netflix, or Netflix for EA games. I don't know. And the funniest thing about that was he comes out and he said, "I know all of you are excited to play the new Madden game." Cue one person clapping. Yep, so much hype for Madden. Best series. Anyways, then they said Titanfall is joining EA Access, and later this year Dragon Age. So if those are games you're interested in, you may want to check that out. I don't know. Then they had Plants vs. Zombie 2 Garden Warfare. They had a little cinematic for that. No gameplay again. And from the looks of it, I'd rather just play the original one. I've very briefly played the original one. That was fun. I don't know if Garden Warfare is like an offshoot of it or not. But honestly, it just kind of looks stupid. I didn't like the concept, and they were trying to make it all BA and everything. No. Next, they dropped a car in on the stage, and I'm just like, what? That was some kind of tie-in for the Forza racing game or something. I mean, we get it's a car game, but people are driving the cars in the game. You don't need to bring one into the showroom. We've all seen what a car looks like. Thank you. Seems silly. Anyways, was another trailer. Not a lot of gameplay there either. Starting to sense a pattern. Anyways, Dark Souls 3, they announced that. Had a cinematic thing. Looked interesting, but same problem. I'm honestly not sure what I'm supposed to talk about all these things, because I don't have a lot of experience with these games, and I want to talk about them, but they're not showing me anything that, as a new player coming in, why I should be excited for this. Like, for all I know, they're movies, because they're not showing me any gameplay. It'll probably be good just based on Dark Souls' track record. It has a really big fan base. But really, why bother telling us that you're working on it without showing us even a taste of what we can expect? Then they had The Division, which was a cool cutscene, bro. Seriously, though, I'd maybe be interested in it if you showed me some gameplay. Yeah, I'm going to be harping on that a lot. Rainbow Six Siege, it comes with the old ones and has backwards compatibility. So that ties in with their announcement of the backwards compatibility. So I like that. But as far as the game itself goes, it looks whatever. I wasn't really interested. They did show us a little gameplay though, so I mean, that's good. Then they announced Gigantic, and that was actually it was kind of interesting. It was like more cartoony, uh, and it looked, I don't know, cell shaded. It reminded me of Wind Waker, in terms of like how it's all bright and cartoonish, uh, and it's free to play, which is cool. Uh, like I said, it looked interesting. Uh, I actually would have wanted to see a little more of that. They didn't really show us enough of it. It was another trailer. Uh, then they had an indie development montage round. So they all kind of had the same problem because they didn't give a lot of time to any of them. So lightning round, go. Ashen looked interesting, but it's plagued by the same problem as nearly every other game in the presentation. Beyond Eyes, I really liked the concept on that one. I was interested to learn more. It looked really pretty. I loved the art style. But guess what? Cuphead. It was old-timey cartoon styles, Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie. I respect that as a fan of animation. It was very interesting, but I don't even know why I'm saying it anymore. No gameplay. Uh, After the indie stuff, they did some. They talked about early access. Uh, they're giving more early access or opening it up or what have you. Uh, the question is, if everyone's doing early access, at what point does it just become access? I don't know. Uh, Next, they had the new Tomb Raider, and it looked good. And first started, I was like, "Oh, we actually get gameplay! Yes! Wow!" But then I never thought I'd be excited. I never thought I'd be so excited to see gameplay at a gameplay conference. But then it turned out that I saw a QuickTime event, and oh, it's a cutscene. Thank you. Uh, or maybe it wasn't. I honestly couldn't tell if it was gameplay or a cutscene. But uh, that aside, what they showed was interesting, and they did show some gameplay later on. It looked really pretty. Uh, yeah. Uh, After that, they had the return of Rare, so to speak, uh, and everyone was super hyped. And then it was just a bundle game of some sort, like a classics collection, and it's all the classic Rare games except the ones from Nintendo, where otherwise known as the good ones. Uh, all I can say is for the Xbox people, enjoy your Banjo Kazooie nuts and bolts. Uh, and then Rare also announced, I think it was Rare, they announced Pirates of the Caribbean. It was actually called Sea of Thieves, but it looked like Pirates of the Caribbean. Uh, Honestly, that one looked interesting. And they did show a little bit of gameplay. It looked like it had some kind of multiplayer component to it. You could see other people's usernames above their heads. So that was cool. Uh, Looked interesting, but yeah, I'll be sure to go watch that one when it hits theaters. Uh, and then after that, Fabled Legends, it looked pretty, no gameplay. Uh, After that, probably the thing that kind of stole the show. They started by talking about how they made a deal with Oculus Rift, and Oculus Rifts would come with Xbox controller packaged in. But then they also said they have their own version that they're working on called the HoloLens. Uh, I was really confused. I mean, if you made a deal with Oculus Rift, is this different from the HoloLens? Is the HoloLens an offshoot of that? I don't know. But why partner with Oculus Rift, assuming they're different, of course, if you're releasing your own? It kind of sounds like we're not completely sure that ours is going to work, so we're going to partner up with you just as a backup plan. Uh, I don't know. But moving on from that, they started talking Minecraft, and they were showing the HoloLens compatibility with that, and it looked really good actually. Uh, Virtual Boy hitting virtual reality way before anyone else, though. Uh, that's a joke. Virtual Boy was terrible. Uh, But then they pulled out a freaking hologram table, like Star Wars confirmed. It looked really cool. Uh, Honestly, they should have just done that as the whole presentation. That was way cooler than like any of the other games and things they showed, except maybe the customizable controller. Uh, Instead of wasting my time with movie trailers. Uh, but I don't know if it'll only work with Minecraft. That's kind of what it looked like, was Minecraft exclusive, which is really cool. Minecraft's really popular, so there's definitely a base for it. But uh, like you can lift up like it makes a projection of your world or a segment of your world. You can like rotate it and see it in 3D, and you can move up to view into the underground, or you can push down and you can touch and shoot lightning at different spots, and put beacons to tell a player using the hollow lens where to go. Uh, Basically, it turns you into Minecraft God, which again is really cool. But I'm worried because Minecraft, part of that is just the freedom and the adventure that you are the player. You're exploring this world. Uh, I feel like that kind of lessens the immersion if you're not actually playing in the game. You're just sitting here playing with your Lego diorama. Uh, yeah, it feels like it might lose some of the adventure, and it's pretty awesome. More the technology rather than necessarily integrated into a game. Awesome but impractical, but probably the most notable thing at their press conference thing. Uh, After that, they talked about the Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which is just like a re-release with of the older games in like HD with 1080p and what have you. Uh, and they didn't even bother to show us any gameplay like remastered or anything. It was just a static picture in the background, so thanks for that. Uh, and then they did talk about Gears of War 4. Honestly, not my genre again. Didn't look super interesting, but they also showed us everything like it was really dark. So I couldn't even tell like if things looked graphically good or not. I could kind of see when they shone a light on things and it looked like okay. Uh, but they did show gameplay, so I'll give them points for that. Uh, but their gameplay looked really slow, kind of like laggy. I don't know. Uh, Again, not my cup of tea. Uh, so that kind of closed out their conference. Overall, the big problem with the conference was the complete and total lack of gameplay. Like they had it on like 5 games max. Given the number they showed and how much time they spent, I would have liked to see more. Uh, I will say they had some impressive 2-minute movies that they displayed, little trailers for coming attractions, but I'm here to play games, not to watch movies. So that's my stance on that. I think I've made that clear at this point. Honestly, I don't really know what to talk about, given that I don't have a lot of background knowledge with these games. Uh, as someone who would, as a prospective customer, uh, I don't really know whether or not I should be hyped for any of these because you didn't show me anything to make me hyped. Uh, Even the established series, which are the ones that kind of did get more gameplay elements, like Tomb Raider, Halo, Fable, those did get a little gameplay, but not a lot. I mean, they're pretty much riding off of their notoriety on that one, on those ones, and also like Dark Souls. We already know those ones are going to sell regardless, so I can kind of give them a pass because we already know they're going to be fine, or most likely be fine. Uh, but overall, I didn't see a lot in the presentation as far as gameplay goes that wowed me. Most interesting things were, again, the customizable controller and the Minecraft hologram table, which wasn't even necessarily impressive in the sense of Minecraft, just the technology itself. So they showed a lot of IPs, which are cool, but they didn't really show us anything other than names. Uh, Unless you're really big into the big name series that Microsoft had, I don't think there was anything new coming that you should necessarily be super hyped for yet, because they didn't show us anything. As I close, again, I ask, where's the gameplay? Thank you for watching.